Good afternoon. It's a little different, isn't it? I had to work this morning. I don't usually work Saturday mornings, but you got to do what you got to do. So today's mission or plan, like I said last week, get this damn thing to run today. If it plays nice, then hopefully we'll just get it done this afternoon and we won't have to come back tomorrow or next week. We'll get it back together and take it to the workshop. So like I showed you last week, if you didn't see last week's video, go check that out. It'll explain this week's video, but we're going to be working on the K30, trying to get it running. So I'm going to get set up and then I'll show you guys what we're going to do. All right, basically this is what we got going on. We're going to put one of these in. I'm going to put this in. So I've wired it up at work, pretty much put all the fittings on, ready to go. These two are coming off. We're going to make our hoses in the car, see how much length we need. So quick tip with the battery. This is what I like to do. I've got you facing the right way. Put a 10 there and a 21 there. So 10th month 21. So that way I know what month I bought the battery, so I can get me warranty if I need it. You can also scratch it on the plastic, or some batteries actually come with little stickers you pick off, but I like to do it that way. You know, the punches cost you about 15 bucks. And it's always there for you to see nice and easily. So 1, 2, 3. All this in here is what we're going to make that work. So a whole bunch of fittings, hose clamps, 5 meters of hose, plus what's in the car, and then fingers crossed it's going to work. So all of that, plus all of that, plus that, plus that. Should be good, hopefully. So usually working away from the workshop, you bring a ton of stuff extra just in case. So you always end up forgetting something, but hopefully we remembered it all. So we're gonna start getting all this stuff set up and we'll show you in a sec. Okay, so we got that mounted. It's got 2 mounting points. As you can probably hear, it's nice and solid. It's moving the whole car. At my workshop, we call this a redded recovery point when it doesn't move. So in here, one on this side, one on the other side, and we just use the riv nut. What's a riv nut? One of these, if it'll focus. So that goes down in the hole. It's got a thread in it, and when you rivet it up, it actually squashes in between the 2 bits of metal and leaves a nice thread. Saves you trying to go from underneath and hold a nut and put the bolt through. This is much better. If you haven't used these before, I highly recommend to a friend. These lifesavers. Actually used them up for the pre-pump as well on the other side. The pre-pump is rubber mounted down in there. So get that done. Now we're going to run some fuel lines. And I just remember we don't have no fuel, so I've got to find a jerry can somewhere. But we'll get to that after. So let me get that sorted and then show you what I come up with. Alright, a little while later, and this is where we got to run. Got all our lines running down, back of the tank, up to our pre-pump, and then we've got our 2 lines going to our tank, which are our low pressure feed to the surge tank, our return from the surge tank back to the tank. That's those 2 up there. And then we got 2 down here. So from the pump, let's get this angle going, from the pump down under the car to the front, and then this is from under the car return back from the engine to keep the surge full, and then whatever is excess that fills the surge right up, it will go back out into our main tank. So that's where we're at. This will all be covered up too. There's a board that goes here. We'll make it all look nice and pretty. But that's where we're at. You're not going to see that pre-pump, I don't think, when the board's in. But yeah, we'll clean all this up later. I just want to make it work. All the sort of tidying the wiring up and making it all pretty comes later after we make sure it all works. So now I'm going to modify the top hanger in here. Got to pull that out because the lines are smaller on there, so I've got to make them bigger to take our new line. So next step, which I didn't account for, but fingers crossed we'll get there, we'll get it done. So let me pull that out and show you what it looks like on the bench. Well, we're at the workshop. Lo and behold, we ran into a speed hump. as I throw things around. The fittings, excluding this big one, these ones are too small. We're gonna lop them off and fit up the new pieces, or secondhand brand new, something like that. Secondhand new. What do we usually say? Brand new secondhand. That's what we say. I'm gonna brain fart there for a second. We're gonna make these fit, so we're gonna chop that off and solder it on, and hopefully that is crisis averted. So I'm gonna get stuck into doing that. We'll see if we've got time. If we have time, we'll go back to the car and fit it up and put fuel in it and crank it and see if we can get it to fire. If it fires, I'll be ecstatic. But if not, we'll be back there tomorrow. So I'll get this done and then let's see where we get to. Okay, final product, all done. Don't bash me up on my soldering skills. It's not something I do very often, but not bad. So we're gonna block this one off, utilize these two. So the one with the long tube, that's the feed. That's what the pre-pump will connect to, or the low pressure pump. And the one with no end on it, that's our return from the surge tank. So our overflow return. And we'll blank this off, and this is our filler breather. So that's that. We'll see if it leaks. Our retainer here also fits. As you can see, there's not much room to play with, but we made it work. Okay, it's Sunday. We didn't get a chance to come back yesterday, so there's the car, there's the fuel. The thing that I fixed the hanger is in the boot. I'm gonna put that in, put fuel in it, put those two lines on with the clamps, and then see if it starts. So let me get it all ready to crank, and then I'll set you guys up on a tripod and we'll see together if it starts. Okay, don't mind the mess. Everybody with a project car knows you store stuff in your car. So with this as well, I've kind of changed my mind. I'm gonna actually not use that and redo it all and tuck it all up in here somewhere. But all right, first things first. Whew. We got fuel in it. So we're gonna actually, before we even try to crank it, is prime the system. Make sure we got no leaks. Make sure everything's safe before we put power. So we'll be checking the boot and the engine bay, make sure we got no leaks. Now I don't remember which one's which, but I haven't set the wiring up properly yet, so don't bash me up for that. So we're going to turn the ignition on, get power to that board. I lost the keys. You guys are on the same adventure I am. Sunday. Brain's not working. Ignition's on. Pumps aren't going because, like I said, I haven't wired them up properly yet. So first one, if I got this right, it's the main pump. So that's the pre-pump, that's the little one. I'm glad it quietened down. It sounds a bit noisy because there's no back seat in it. So once there's a back seat, it'll dampen out. All right, let's check that. So, no leaks there. No leaks out of that yet. Nothing yet. Sounds sort of full. We'll go with that one a little bit more. Alright, let's do the main one. That sounded like it picked up fuel. Let's check the engine bay. No leaks. No leaks. No leaks, and no leaks so far. And the injector's trying to leak because I didn't touch those. Okay, check the boot. No leaks that I see. And we'll check under the car as well. No leaks, nothing dripping. All right, let me set you up on a tripod and let's try and start this thing. Let's start it. We got a major fuel leak. All right, as you guys saw, it did start. We had a major fuel leak. I'll show you where it came from. This banjo fitting right here wasn't tight. There's always got to be one. So just do that again. Can't run it too long. I haven't got any coolant in it. Okay, we had another fuel leak there on this fitting, and I could have sworn I'd done all those up, but anyway, this is what happens when you start and stop on a car and you forget things. That's why we got to double check and give it a shakedown. So also got to get another belt. You're going to probably see that in the video, flapping around and making noise. That belt's actually too long. I forgot I got to get one of those. So far so good. Let's start her again and ignore the noises, just look for fuel leaks. I took the belt off, it was making way too much noise. That sounds a lot better. Sounds different too. Not blowing any smoke. Beauty. Now we just need an accelerator cable, we can drive the damn thing. She's shaking a bit, but just the mounts or whatnot. We'll just say it's got a cam in it, eh? Without another leak. But it runs. Okay, so it runs. So that's where we're going to leave it for today. I'm happy as, like, even though it's got a few fuel leaks and things like that, that's to be expected. And we're actually not too worried about that sort of stuff. We're going to give it a full shakedown, take it to the shop, go over everything, make sure it's right. But it starts, happy days. It's not leaking a shit ton of oil out of anywhere, just a few fuel leaks, but that's my fault. So we're making progress. And now what we're going to do is get the front end back on that, make an accelerator cable here, do a dodgy sort of air filter setup, and then get it to the workshop. And that's where we're going to actually go right through the whole car, make sure it's right. We're actually going to lower it. I got a set of wheels for it. I haven't shown you guys yet. Probably get some white walls done. Probably go get the exhaust redone. But we'll see. We're just got to get it looking better, get the interior back in it, make it look decent, and then drive it around, have some fun, and maybe lock the diff. Maybe. See how we go. But yeah. And to give you guys an update on the surprise, it's not here. Sebastian had to work. Sebastian's the owner. He had to work this weekend, so it's not here. So during the week, we'll get that happening, get that sort of, I'm bad with words this weekend. Get it ready to get it here. You know what I mean. So hopefully next Sunday that'll be there. So we're gonna finish up. We had a win this weekend, so you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye.